Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to be showing you guys off the Ark Reborn mod today. It's a very cool mod. I actually have an interview near the end with the real as real. And so you guys can go ahead and skip around to whatever portion of the video you'd like to watch. Be sure to check the description for a link to the mod, as well as some servers that are actually currently running the mod. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, now we're going to be testing out the Tranq Rifle. I've just looked and this guy has 2400 torpidity. I'm going to shoot my own guy just because I'm not sure exactly how much it'll do, and I can actually measure it when I shoot him. So this thing is it looks like it's got the rifle model and it's got the scope and everything, but as you can tell here, I have one Tranq dart remaining. There's one and one. There's one loaded and one in here. So here we go. Didn't seem very happy about that, did he? Oh man, 400 torpidity, 500 torpidity. We're looking right here, of course, 600. So it does a little over 600 torpidity, which is absolutely insane compared to the original, like, what, 40 torpidity? And then the carbon fiber arrows that he implemented will also do a large amount of torpidity. Like, there's a Tranq version, and those will do 240, I believe. That's the stat. So we got one that does 40 now, one that does 240, and one that does 600, which is obviously massive. And how you're going to want to make these is right here. You got 2 metal ingots, 2 polymer, and 20 narcotics. So they're quite expensive, but you could basically knock out anyone you wanted, any of your, even your most extremely high torpor foes, you can knock out in one shot. So anyone you want to knock out, any enemy dinosaur, raptor, anything but probably a T-Rex or Spino, you can knock out in one shot. And you can see the rifle is made like this: 120 metal ingots, 30 polymer, and 15 crystal. It's also not cheap. It's fairly expensive. The carbon Tranq arrow is going to be 1 stone arrow and a narcotic. That's not right. Okay, so these are actually messed up. I think these are backwards. The carbon Tranq arrow isn't actually the Tranq arrow. I think it's a glitch currently. The carbon fiber arrow is actually 1 metal ingot, 1 polymer, and 2 fiber. And then the Tranq arrow, the carbon Tranq arrow is 1 carbon arrow and 3 narcotics. So let me see if I can find this down the line somewhere, because I saw it a minute ago and I realized this. I just can't seem to find it. Here to go. Yep, see, there it is. It's 1 carbon fiber arrow and 3 narcotics. So he's probably going to fix that today. I'll let him know about that, and he'll fix that pretty quickly because he's really good about that. Alright, so now I'm going to test out this carbon fiber arrow. It is pretty strong. It's not, I don't think it's overpowered, but it is very, very strong. So let me kill this Dilo real quick first. Two shot at a level 7 Dilo. It's not too impressive yet, but I got both the arrows back. You get almost every single arrow back every time. Out of 10, you'll probably get 9 back. Just 1 shot, 2. See, it took five arrows to kill that guy. See, I got 4 back, so that's a pretty good ratio. And actually, I got all 5 back. There we go. But as you can tell, it is much stronger. It probably would have taken 20 arrows right there to kill that stego, but with the carbon fiber, it's much easier. Anyways, guys, that's it for the weapons part. Thanks for watching. And now for the interview. Hey guys, now I'm going to show you the different colors of the dinosaurs. As you can see, unfortunately, there was a battle that took place a second ago, and about half of them died. But from the Carno. But anyways, you can see there's definitely different colors on this mod. You can see the purple tipped plates on the Stegosaurus's armor right there. And I'm going to apologize for the FPS again, just because I'm sorry about that, guys. I know it's annoying, but just for demonstration purposes, I think you can kind of tell. You can see kind of the purplish spots on this guy down here on the Phiomia, and then you can see the yellowish and greenish tint to the Triceratops down there. So you can definitely tell there's a lot of different colors in the game. I have seen yellow to be a very prominent one for some reason. It looks very cool, I'm not going to lie. Especially on the Ankylosaur. I saw an Ankylo back here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. That had yellow spikes all over, which was very interesting looking. Oh, here's a T-Rex. And he's yellow. And there's a purplish looking pterodon. That's really cool. Purplish pinkish, something like that. Anyway, that's a yellowish T-Rex. Let's see if I can find that anklo. Oh, here it is. This anklo looks pretty cool because he's got like the yellow tip spikes. And he's kind of got reddish legs. That's very interesting. So anyways, there's a lot of different color variation in this. I force tamed a couple dinos over here just so you guys could see. You can see the Brontos got a little more, just a little more color to them rather than being so gray and dull. So this one's a lot more greenish yellow, and this one right here is orangish green. And I had a yellow polka dotted Phiomia, but a Sabertooth killed him. And then I tamed the Sabertooth, who is now yellow. And we got the Dilo, who's also yellow. So yellow is a very prominent color for some reason. There's orange right here. You can see here's another Stego. His body's white and his plates are purplish, and this one's very cool looking. He's got tealish tipped plates, but they're purplish, and he's also orange. I don't know. Alright, I think that's enough examples of that. But as you can see, there is a large amount of color variation in this mod in addition to many other things. So I just want to show you guys that aspect of it really quickly. But it also changes loot drops a little bit. As you can see here, instead of having your typical stuff in the loot drop, it now has a bunch of different stuff. So you can see there's a pterodon egg, a kibble, compass, a hatchet with instead of being 100% damage, if you look down in the at the stats, it says 173 durability and 176.2% weapon damage, which is much higher than it normally would be. But as you can also tell, the resources are a little bit higher. 95 metal ingots for this hatchet, and 100 wood and 119 hide. So we have to keep that in mind when we find these super OP things. They also cost a lot of stuff. They also have there's another one right here that's even higher with a 205% weapon damage and 100 iron required. Unfortunately, I am drowning. But anyways, guys, these drops are going to be much more useful than the drops we currently have. Alright guys, well I got the real Azrael, the mod maker, here with me, and we're going to be talking about some of the current features and upcoming features.
How's it going, guys?
Alright, so we got a lot of cool and interesting things inputted by this mod, from supply drops to new weapons to dino coloring and etc. How about you just tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's just a basic overall like rehaul to make the mod a little bit more balanced, a little bit more fun. As of right now, once it gets uploaded, all the dinos have been changed over. Everything from taming to egg drops has been modified. The two new weapons, the bow and the Tranq gun, quite a bit of work.
Yeah, that's real cool. So you got two more tameable dinosaurs in the game. Are those going to be rideable or just tameable right now?
At the moment, just tameable because I don't have any way to put a saddle on them, because you have to do that through a 3D modeling program, which I do not have.
Yeah, that's going to be quite difficult. They're actually current dinos. They're the boa and the bats. So those are going to be very interesting. Both cave creatures.
Yeah, and they're the meaning for it was because of all the egg drops that we're having now, giving you the opportunity to create your own egg farm with every animal that has an egg drop.
Okay, well that's very interesting. And so with the new arrows and bows and etc., are you planning on implementing any other kinds of weaponry in the future?
Yeah, definitely over time. I've got one of my groups is wanting me to implement either a rocket launcher that shoots AoE narcotic gas rounds or a gas grenade. So I'm going to be working on one of those soon.
That's really interesting. And so with the dino coloration, so as you can see in the background, as it's scrolling through, you can see a bunch of different dinosaurs, all different colors. I even got a rainbow colored Spinosaur in there, and there was another Spino that looked a little different color variation, but it's also very cool. So do you plan on like making any of those more drastic in some of the dinos? Because some of them, like the Carno, is still kind of about the same, or is that like possible?
Yeah, actually the biggest difference that I've made so far, now that I've gotten into all the dino files and I can now modify them a lot easier, I made sure that every dino variation, every dino has albino skin mixed in, and having that white, just even if it's just one little piece, the ones that didn't have the albino skins before, it really makes a huge difference.
Yeah, no kidding. I actually have a picture of an albino Carno. Unfortunately, I got to him after he was already in a fight with a Bronto, but it does look very cool. You're right. And so you were saying earlier about the egg drop rates. What exactly did you do there?
So the egg drop rates currently are at 0.01, so 1% chance to drop. I made it to where all the big dinosaurs like the Brontos, the Rexes, the Spinos, things that you don't have a whole lot of room to put a bunch in. And on top of that, if you put a bunch in to try to increase your egg drop rate, you're going to end up hurting the server that you're on. So I made it to where you don't have to do that. You know, you can have 2 or 3 and you'll still get a decent egg drop rate. They'll vary the big dinosaurs in between 25 to 33% chance of an egg drop. And then the smaller ones that you can, stack on with, they're closer to like a 15% chance.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's very interesting.
And then speaking of egg drops, just a little tidbit for you and for the viewers. We found out how the egg drops actually work and what creates the egg drop instance. So if you want me to pass that on, I'd be happy to.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be some people interested in that. I was gonna ask you about the Kibble system because I know you did some drastic reworking on that.
Yeah, so after they released the Kibble system, like everyone was just dramatically depressed because eggs are so hard to get. It's so much work just to make one kibble, and some of these dinosaurs need literally 150 plus kibble to get tamed. So what we did is we didn't change how much affinity you gain per thing of kibble. We actually made it to where the kibble just works better. The dinosaurs eat it much faster. So instead of it taking 2 to 3 minutes per bite, it literally takes seconds in between bites. So if you gather that 100 plus kibble to tame that high level dinosaur, and you go through that work, because that's literally days and days and days of work, there's no need for you to be sitting there watching a dinosaur for another 6 hours. So we made it to where if you do that work, you're going to get the big reward of a fast tame.
Well, it's definitely very interesting and very different from how it's currently set up, because it just takes way too long. I mean, why would you do all of that work and then wait all of that time? It's definitely a more rewarding system.
Yeah, the reward is there, and we made it to where all the kibble has, at least a 2 times effect compared to prime meat. So you're going to be able to tame those herbivores a lot faster without having that specific favored kibble, which is awesome. So you can have that kibble dodo farm going.
Yeah, so that's gonna be very, very helpful. And finally, I believe you also changed the supply drops and cave spawns. I believe that was one of your first changes. What exactly did you do there?
So what I did with those is I essentially just took out the stuff that wasn't a matching level. So if you're in the the level 45 drop, you're at a yellow drop, and you go pick it up, and you pick up cloth armor. Like, that's just a complete disappointing, depressing thing.
It's a slap in the face, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's not going to happen. And there's only one drop that carries water jars. There's only one drop that carries compasses. So you won't see those all over the place anymore either.
And you also made it to where there's a wider variety of blueprints available in those drops as well, right?
Actually, I didn't make it a wider variety. I just adjusted the weights. Because before it had it to where the section that was carrying, like the consumable ammo or the water jars or the compasses, that had the heaviest weight of the drop, so that was coming up the most. I just adjusted it to where that actually had the lowest, so then you get a more of a variety. And then I added the kibble and the eggs into the drop too, into the loot tables.
Okay, and the cave spawns?
And cave spawns they're a much higher tier of weapon. You're going to start getting that beginning ascendant, later ascendant, late journeyman type gear from the cave spawns.
So it's going to be much more rewarding for digging through all of that, all of those hostiles.
Exactly. Going through all that effort to prep and get all the ammo to be able to clear the cave and stay alive. yeah, you're going to get a big reward out of that and be able to clear the case faster each time you make it through because you're going to have better equipment each time.
Yeah, this can be really very much needed. It's gonna be great for overall. This whole mod, it seems to be great for overall server balance and for overall stuff. I believe there's a couple of servers currently running your mod. I can go ahead and link those in the description of this video, so that you guys can check those out if you'd like. And is there any other upcoming features or anything you can kind of tease us with?
Well, I mean, just the biggest one is that I've literally overhauled all dinos, and from that point, I'm going to start working into their actual stats to make it so that whenever you tame a dino, yeah, you're still going to be strong, but it's not going to be to where you have, you're only 20 levels into taming a dino, or you've only gained 20 levels and you're just now unstoppable force. It's going to be a challenge, until you get to that top tier levels, just like whenever you're the survivor, until you start getting to higher levels, it's still a challenge. It's just no fun. As soon as you get a Rex to level 10, it just destroys everything. Like, we want to create that challenge level, throughout the game to keep it fun and keep you engaged so you don't get bored. And then on top of that, our biggest project is we're going to be creating a boss dino. And we have some really big plans for it, but there's going to be a boss dino that spawns and it's going to have some great loot attached to it.
Okay, so are you going to make like a super high-leveled, already implemented dino, or are you going to have your entirely different dino plant, like 3D model, or what are you going to do there?
If I can talk my guy that made the arrow, the Tranq arrow, into doing it, then we can do a full dino. If not, then I'll just I'll modify one of the dino files. Obviously make it quite a bit bigger, make it an obvious look. Do whatever I can to make it look really awesome. But that'll be kind of like the spider, to where you can't tame it, the big spider, the brood mother. But it'll be an awesome achievement to get, and it'll just be a random world boss spawning all over the place.
And it'll have like a lot of loot and stuff on it, I assume.
Yeah, it'll have great loot, and it'll be a challenge to take down.
All right, man. Well, that all sounds great. I can't wait to see these upcoming features. It's been real nice talking with you, and well, thank you.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Thank you for giving it a try.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. I hope you really enjoyed it.